Welcome you guys to number 2 of this moving dialogue. Here we have Menno. He's another host. So maybe you can tell the world, everyone who's watching, who you are.
So my name is Menno, 32 years old, from Tilburg, based in Rotterdam. Been breaking for most of my life, around 21 years right now. Did various competitions, won a lot of competitions, and right now running OTB movement.
And in OTB movement, we just had a nice little workshop with Mr. Castillo. Maybe also you can just bring in some energy and tell us what you did.
What I did? Okay, I just gave a workshop here at OTB Movement Studio, and the idea of the workshop was to give the participants some more input, some more knowledge, more experience about the body-mind connection.
Could you go a little bit further into that? What do you mean by the body-mind experience?
There's always communication going on between the mind and the body. The body wants to share its wishes to the mind, and the mind can manipulate the body. So how this conversation is taking place and how we can get to deeper layers to this thing happening. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, it was. I was really impressed with the part where we had to hold our arm at one point, and then your farthest reach, and then you focus and meditate on the point that you just saw at the very end, and then you see it in your mind. You visualize yourself going way beyond it, and then you're like, yeah, right, and then you do it, and you act not a little bit, but actually a lot. And your reach is way more further. I was like, God damn, this is crazy. Just because of the mind and the focus on it.
Yeah.
That was really eye-opening for me.
Yeah, the whole body is a very mysterious thing basically. It's all if you go to deeper layers, what is it like? Cells, deeper layers, molecules just spinning around, turning around. You have this big of space. And in this space, just molecules go super fast, so it looks like how you call it, like a dense area, but actually it's just 99% open.
Yeah, most of it is just air. But with I wasn't at the workshop because I had another workshop. But fun indeed. I just was reading a research about the eyes and reach, and what they did was a test. You can just do the test here. You spread out. And then you fully turn and you look as far as you can. You fully turn, you look as far as you can. And then you can even go further, and you can keep doing this for 3-4 times. And every time you just keep reaching further, even though you think you're at the end. So there's a lot of nice little tips and tricks here. But before we go on, I would like to go a step back. And this is the moving dialogue, and we need to have a nice little question that we always ask. So my question to you is, do you have any type of idea of what movement is as a definition? I don't know if you have thought about this before, but or what the things that you're doing in your workshops and at your place in Eindhoven. What is movement for you? Do you have a working definition or anything like that?
Movement is a very wide word. You can apply it in different areas of life. But if you keep it on the physical level, then for me it's like creating the most functional vehicle.
Interesting.
So yes, you have this vehicle and you have the world. How can I put myself in the world in the most functional way? What skills do I have to possess to do all the tasks effortless?
Interesting. And we haven't heard your perspective yet as Mr. B-Boy.
My perspective of movement, I would say I'm addicted to creating movement, and I feel within my dance, the more movement I learn, the more closer I get to ultimate freedom in movement. And to me, the like freedom that I have in moving on the floor,
Yeah.
that's like my ultimate high. And I feel like the more movement I learn, the more mobility I get, the more options my body have, the more close I get to like heaven, or my heaven.
So that's interesting. There's already like two distinct parts of what I would call movement, and with Menno, with you, I hear more like a sense of improvisation and of being authentic to yourself, to finding your true self, and you're just exploring like through improvising and creating new stuff who you actually are.
Yeah.
And here I find like the like the most functional vehicle, like you're trying to find like something that works across the broadest sets of skills.
Yes.
Is that like a good summary?
That's good, but there's still, I think we still, he tried to get the most functional way to get in certain moves, for example.
Yeah. Like, I think
Yeah.
it's like
It was very close to each other,
Yeah.
and I try to be very creative in finding ways of how to create the most functional.
yeah. So it's like yeah, because I've always been struggling because I don't think there is an actual definition of movement that actually works 100% of the time. So I'm always trying to see like there's like different flavors, but it's all like this like for me it's like two parts of the same coin. Because when I start thinking about movement, there's a definite learning aspect to it, and then why are you learning this? And there's like a being aspect to it, like who am I? And that usually is like it's like the school of life part, you know. There's things that you learn through movement that you cannot learn anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not anywhere else, but I think movement is a very good way to learn resilience, to learn how to face obstacles, how to face failure, how to be vulnerable, how to create, how to improvise, how to find out who you are. That's like one side, but the other side is just if I'm going to take it like really black and white, it's more like the practical. You build it. That's why I like the word that you use, like a vehicle. Like you're building a structure that can explore way more. Because if one goes away and you're just doing the practice, a large part is missing. But if you're just doing the being part, you don't have all the options. You're missing like options. So, how? Maybe this is like a question for the both of you. How would you think this? What do you think? Like, where's the difference between the way and like we always said, like it's the same it's the same thing. We're just going into it from a different perspective. I think that's where we are right now. How do you think like your perspective differs from Castello's perspective and vice versa? Maybe that would be a nice thing to explore a bit more.
I think he understands my perspective very well because he started with breaking as well.
Yeah.
I think the difference.
There's
My
always a
set of
difference.
skills is maybe more the way I train for it is more functional, as in my within my dance, and I think his is more like I don't know why, but I'm thinking about the zombie movies when there's like the last human alive and then like all the zombies, like he would have probably more surviving abilities than I would have with my movement that I can use in my breaking, because I use failure a lot to create movements, which is not necessarily functional, but it's like, I don't know how to explain. I use a lot of mistakes to create, and I use a lot of out of balance, which is more like beautiful movement. That's very important for me, is that my movement looks beautiful, and I think his movement is more on like functionality and and strength
So
and mobility.
he's just the guy you want to have
But
in
you
your
can
corner.
tell within the way he's doing it, you can still tell like this guy had a b-boy background because he's still really creative with it.
Yeah. So we just found out that you're the guy that we need in our corner when there's zombies. But maybe you can try to do like the same thing as Menno just did, like knowing that most of your perspective probably overlaps. What do you think is, where do you think the difference is between you two in the way you approach movement or your own practice?
Yeah, as he also mentioned, you too, I started as a b-boy.
Yeah.
Before, when I was young, I just loved to create movements. And I started with judo and I did all rolls and then break started to catch my eye. Okay, I can just create my own moves and just be respected for it, and I can showcase my own stuff. I can challenge myself with other people. Like, oh, this is amazing. Does it exist? This is powerful. So just creating gave me also a big sense of freedom and a big sense of many things, man. You just get respected for your own creations. So that was very powerful as a young youth who don't go well in school and didn't get respect in these areas, but in this world, like I feel whole, I feel complete.
Yeah.
But as I grow older, I start to see like, okay, this is nice, breaking is nice for me to create. I can create also on different paths, I can create on a path, I can create with different things. So the creation paths always have my interest because I take a lot of joy out of it. But I want to take it another step. I want to think like, okay, how can I benefit a lot from movements? And how can I also make a living out of it, basically? How can I also, he makes a living out of it. But for me, I wanted to go another path. And how can I guide people in creating more functional movements? So this also gives me joy to have like a high value in society.
Yeah. Yeah. So also the part of teaching, and like Menno, when you're like, because you said like it was more like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was more like a summary, like more like your own authentic way towards the top of the game of breakdancing. But how much of that do you think is like teachable to outsiders? Like what part of your practice could be taught to other people to like accelerate their learning, or to just
Everything.
Yeah.
I think everything is very learnable. What I do, I love to teach, and I always teach with concepts. I rarely teach in a way that I show a technique, you watch, you copy the technique. I always create tools for people so they can create with it. So that's so yeah, I love to create tools for people, concepts, and give them things where they can like put it in their practice and create with.
You
So
provide
sure.
an opportunity to explore themselves.
Yeah, so I love to like teach people how to explore movement, and if I like, maybe for myself it came naturally, but then I try to break it down when I teach, and I always end up like within a concept of like them, like I rather have them find out themselves what I mean over than me telling them straight like do this
Yeah.
and do that, you know.
Yeah, that's actually quite interesting, because that's like that's actually exactly like the science says you should be doing it. So you don't want to tell them exactly what to do. You want to create some chaos, and you want to give them as much autonomy and responsibility as you can.
Yeah.
And from there, they will have bigger struggle in the beginning, but then afterwards they will actually struggle less, because the school of life, the school of struggle, the school of failure, the being vulnerable enough to show yourself, that's what's very difficult.
And it's the most fun
Yeah.
part to like find out yourself.
Yeah. Could you give like an example of such a concept? You have one that pops to mind?
Yeah, I like that. For example, with the moving, for example, with breaking, a lot of people they don't embrace their being out of balance. So I love to be out of balance, and I love that where I put my weight, that's deciding the direction that I'm going. So everything I'm doing is like, this is a fall. This is a fall. Like everything I do, comes from falling down, you know? So I'm never stable because everything I do.
Oh, you're dynamically stable.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I'm never like, boom, I'm always like in the movement. So that's an example. Another thing I like to do is, if you stand up,
Yeah.
so you keep eye contact with this bottle,
Yeah.
and so you cannot turn away. So this is standing level, this is low level, this is all the way from down here. So just feel like the energy is standing. See, the faster I go, the more you need to push. Something like this. So because I feel a lot of people they think too much when
Yeah.
they move, and I feel sometimes you need to trust your instinct on your movements.
Yeah, because this is like a part where it seems like you're using, like reacting to a situation as a primer to discover like new movements.
Yeah, because normally you think, but then when the ball is going down, left right, oh, right, like, oh, jump.
Yeah.
You don't have time to think, I need to go do this, that. So
Yeah.
it's more coming in an instinctive way, I think.
And for you, Costello, like in concepts of teaching, are there like concepts that you like use a lot, or like the stuff that comes to mind, like that's something that comes back every workshop or training?
Well, I work with a lot of individual people, and I really like to create my plan or program around a specific person. So some people are maybe highly stressed out, and they come to my class and yeah, I want more power, I want more strength. You know, and you don't sleep, and you drink coffee a lot, and you want more. So I need to turn it around and let them learn to relax, for example, just the opposite.
Yeah.
And maybe somebody else out of balance, completely out of balance, and he wants to do all crazy stuff. First you build on balance. So it's very personal how I work with the clients.
Alright, so it's more like, in a sense, you're trying to make them like maybe like emotionally more flexible.
Sorry?
Emotionally more flexible, so they're not just one thing. Like we're always hyped on, I'm ready to go, and you would
I still want to create the most functional being over there. So,
Yeah.
and the being has to be in balance. So balance is very important, and then the movement just come out of that situation. It's very personal.
I have a question for the both of you. As some people who know me very well, I'm always trying to, like I have a working definition of movement, but that's not what today's about. But if we could like conceptually zoom out a little bit and we start looking at different type of movement skills. Maybe I can start with you, Costello, as a movement skill that to pull out that you think like this is a good skill to spend time on. It can be very specific, like a handstand, but it could also be like avoid being touched by something. That could also be like a concept. Do you have like could you like maybe think of like what are the basic building blocks of a movement practice. Like some, just you don't have to be exhaustive and tell all of them, but just maybe have an idea.
What like movement everybody should be able to do.
Yeah, also like that could also be like a building block, like the human layer, like.
Yeah, well, okay. I think the human being should be able to move itself easily from point A to B, and should be able to move objects easy from point A to B.
Yeah.
And moving from point A to B in the Western society, you can go a long way with just only sitting, standing, and laying down. You can get everything done with only these three movements. You don't need so much more. But for example, if you go to the supermarket, maybe you look on the lower shelf, I don't know how you call it,
Yeah.
at the low, then there's all the cheaper products. But if you see more of the poor people, right, and they're a bit out of balance and a bit more heavy, they cannot easily go down and check what ingredients there are in the lower shelf.
Yeah.
So just a basic squat, the seated squat, and be able to move around on the low level.
Yeah.
That is like very good basic, I think, to start with for people.
Yeah, so basically being able to walk, being able to go towards the floor and getting off the floor, in a sense, that's like the...
Yeah, if you think about moving from A to B, you can just be walking, just be able to go around obstacles, and also be able to move with just your hands from point A to B. So hanging is also therefore very important.
Yeah.
If I see that a lot of people, they don't get higher with the hand like this because they can walk on the stair and find ways to do it. You can be very creative in limiting our movements. But just hanging and sitting, these two, is like super basic and super important for a lot of people, I think. Yes.
How about you, mister?
To be honest, I don't really approach movement that much that way. I'm really focused on my breaking walk.
Or maybe that's the question, like how do you break down breaking? See what I did there?
I think in breaking, for me, it's all about finding yourself within the dance. Because I think every person has a talent in something, and whatever that something is, you can put it in breaking and make it yours. So if your talent is becoming very good at strength or something, you can develop a style out of that in breaking. But if your talent is being funny, then you can also get your style out of it with breaking. Same if you're creative, you can get it out of it. If you are very like musical, then that will become your strongest point in breaking. And to me, it's all about like finding that in breaking. And if you found like that, then you find your direction, and then within that direction, you try to gain as much as possible from around you, and just put it on your vehicle, so to say. And you just keep going your way, your direction, keep following your direction, but always be open to everything that's around you.
So yeah. So it's like it's quite funny because well, I'm from track and field, and what you just said is basically how we approach the youth. Usually, you get to a club, and then the first thing you do is the decathlon. So you just do everything.
Yeah.
And then in the decathlon you find out what you're good at, and then from there you build on, and you try to make sure that the things that you're not so good at, that you get that to a decent level.
Yeah.
And you don't want to specialize too soon because you'll miss out on a lot of things. And the way, if I summarize how you approach breaking, is you actually tell the person to take a good look at themselves, who they are, and then use that as a form of exploration in movement.
And that goes for your flexibility, your mobility. You say, where's your my flexibility is here, it's definitely not here.
Yeah.
So this will come back in your movement. But that's just the physical part. I think it's also the mind is really important.
But it's good for break to also build like a certain foundation. And from the foundation, your your passion or whatever it may be can also shine through more easy because they have more tools to create.
Yeah, you need a foundation.
Yeah.
In breaking, I love to compare it to a pizza. You know, you need a good foundation to be able to have your own pizza, and then you can put on all the ingredients you want. It will always be a pizza. It doesn't matter if you put Nutella on it, it will still be a pizza. But it needs to be a pizza, you know, you cannot have a pancake. It's similar, but it's not a pizza, you know, and that's like breaking still is like this extremely free thing, but the foundation, you need to have the foundation and you need to build from there.
And some people play with it to find the boundaries of the foundation, you know, when it's still
How big is your pizza? I mean, some people just have a really small pizza. Some people just have a big ass plate. It's just.
But then of course you have the pizza from Rome, you have the pizza from Napoli, you have the pizza from Sicily, and you have the pizza from USA. They're all different pizzas, they're all different doughs, and I think in breaking it's similar. You have people from the West Coast, they will have a different type of foundation in the breakers, people from the East Coast.
I think to close this little talk off as a great idea, I think what we touched on today is actually you have the pizza and you have the pizza building, because you don't have, if you have a pizza, you don't have to let it be the same pizza forever. You can actually change the boundaries of the pizza, the thickness of the pizza, and what you put on the pizza, and how hearty or sweet or whatever. And you can actually make different parts of the pizza. So what I think for now would be a good concept for, or maybe you guys at home to think about is, on one side, we want to use movement to build ourselves and to find out who we actually are and be authentic with it, and you know, you actually use that you use what you have and get better at it. And on the other side, I think, and this is something great that Castillo brought on, is if you bring in the functional side of that, because you can say like, yeah, this is just a body, but the body is the vehicle that will transport you through life. And you can actually make the body have more options. And like you said, like this is something that you do a lot, so you see that more often. But you can actually learn to go the other way and to get more mobile, more strong that way. And then that might start showing itself in your movement as well. So on one side we have the option building of the beautiful vehicle we have, and on the other side we have like the being building, and you should do that both. And I think if you do both that way, movement will become like awesome.
For sure. And I started to be on this like since 2 years actually, since I met Case.
Yeah.
I've been more on it, more like isolating and moving my body and working on my mobility. And I always like, to me, I was always like, I'm stiff in this way, it is what it is. You know what? The fact that I'm stiff makes me more creative because I need to think another route to still do what I want to do.
Yeah.
So it stimulated my creativity, so I was like, you know what, I have peace with it. And I kind of was like, this is just the way my body was.
Yeah.
And then like already being over my 30s, I started to go like once a week, focus more like on the little parts of my body, and like, holy shit, there's some possibilities here.
Yeah.
And now I feel it's actually nice that I started right now, because I created so much around it before that, and now it's like all these new doors open, and it's like,
yeah, and there's also like new pathways to explore.
exactly. But I can recommend people to still like start this stuff more earlier, because it will be.
I think like best case is you eat your cake and you bake your cake and you eat it too, is to have a teacher or someone in your life who like does both.
Yeah.
Who makes you work around and use what you have, but then also start to play with, can we create more options? And yeah, I think that's a stellar idea to end this. But I do think that you, Castillo, you have something amazing that you're doing in Eindhoven. You have your own little movement club. Maybe you can tell the people something about it, where they can find you.
Can I maybe give a little comment to
Of course.
what you just said? You said like, okay, before I feel like I'm stiff, okay, I'm gonna build around it, right? But now you say, okay, I'm stiff. Let's try to figure out how I can fix the problem. But you can still use the mentality of working around it when you have like injuries, for example. Like injuries, you have no option. Okay, I have injuries, I need to let it rest. So it's really a conscious decision. I have to let the part rest. I can work around it. But now you gain the consciousness, the awareness that okay, there's no injury there. There's not working all the way I want. I can work on it. So now, thanks to Case, you got new tools how to build on that to make the dough more delicious, right?
Yeah.
That's
No,
good.
for sure. I want to add something that slipped out.
But that's very valuable, like how you can communicate with the body, like what are the options? What are the body telling you? Injury, you want you to stop. Okay, stiff, well, you want me to work on it. So your communication get more clear, and then you can get more benefits from it.
Yeah, and also it was a kind of eye-opening for me to see that you can be still playful in a workout. Because the playing aspect for me, that was what I love so much about breaking. And then the moment I went to the gym, and I like hated my life, like just being there.
No, gym is very
going to the gym, like
place.
the first moment I went in, I was like, can't wait for the sauna.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna destroy myself, and then I'm gonna treat myself with the sauna. But with this movement stuff, I can still be creative, and it's still different all the time. And this helps for me. It helps me a lot to still push myself on the aspect of just the physical level of it.
My business partner had a great quote when we were talking about movement, and he said, "Playing is not optional." So it doesn't really matter what you do. You can do like heavy weightlifting workout or doing endurance training, but you can always find a way to make it playful and to enjoy it more.
Yeah, this was missing in the fitness industry. So now it's like this concept, the OTP movement, and I think I started now, and I see more people coming up with initiatives to build something, to create a space, area for people to discover themselves on this level. Because this really was missing. A lot of the fitness gyms are like booming, where people are just unaware, sitting on the machine and just pushing.
Yeah.
And with no connection at all. And this connection here's a treasure. You build this connection, you build a better life. So yes, you asked me like about my spot. I just built now my own location. Do I have to say it in the camera? It's a bit awkward.
No, just do it. Just go for it.
I have my own. I call it my own personal movement studio in Eindhoven. So I focus on holistic coaching and personal training. So we try to get an all-round vision of you as a being, and then apply techniques to make you like the most functional, happy being there is. So next week, maybe the podcast comes later, but I'm open from the 15th of August, so check it out. Castillo Movement, you can find me on the website or Instagram and all different platforms. So yeah, OTB, thank you for having me for this workshop.
Go get it.
I enjoyed it a lot, you know, it was very nice to work with the high-level athletes, and yes, man, hopefully see you again very soon.
Yes, sir.
Any last tips or motivational words for upcoming b-boys or movers in general, breakers?
Yeah, just build a connection with yourself. Just feel yourself. Just take time to connect and to learn to build a conversation with your body and respect it. You know, respect your body. Your body is actually a part of the earth, so give it like good ingredients from the earth, high-level products. So you build your body like stronger, more durable, and respect your peace. You know, try to live very clean, because you can get all substance into your body that give you the high, but you're going to get a drop someday. So try to be stable, healthy, and enjoy life.
I think that's the best way to end this stuff. I'm done. This was the Moving Dialogue. Thank you so much. See you next time.